You've been in an argument where you started out as the one who was wronged and you ended up being the one to apologize. That dizzying turnaround wasn't an accident. There is a name for the script that was being used against you. A 3-act play designed to dismantle your reality. By the end of this, you will know its name, you will see its formula, and you will understand why it is one of the most effective weapons of psychological control. And chances are, you've seen this exact pattern unfold within the last week, because it runs on a logic our brains are tragically vulnerable to. Picture a conversation. You bring up something that hurt you. Maybe a promise was broken, or a boundary was crossed. You state the facts as you remember them. The air in the room chills. You expect a discussion, maybe an apology, or at least an explanation. Instead, you get a blank stare. A simple phrase lands with the weight of a stone. That never happened. Or perhaps, I have no memory of that. Or the slightly more sophisticated version, that's not how it happened at all. This is the first move. This is the foundation. It's a direct assault on the shared reality you thought you both occupied. Your memory is immediately put on trial. You start to second-guess yourself. Did I remember it wrong? Am I misinterpreting things? That flicker of self-doubt is the entire point. The goal is to make the ground beneath your feet feel like sand. This initial move creates a crack in your conviction. It's designed to make you question the evidence of your own mind. The person might insist they were joking, and you just took it the wrong way. They might minimize the event, framing it as trivial and framing your reaction as an overreaction. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Every one of these statements serves the same function. It reframes the problem from their behavior to your perception of their behavior. The conversation is already off the rails, but you keep trying to steer it back to the original point. You feel the need to prove your own experience is valid. You start defending your right to feel hurt. This is a trap. While you're busy trying to establish that the event actually occurred, the real objective is being achieved. Your focus is shifting from their action to your sanity. But this simple denial is just the opening act. A flat contradiction is a weak defense that can be countered with evidence or witnesses. That's why the conversation almost never stops there. It immediately escalates into the second, more aggressive phase. This is where the attack truly begins. The focus now pivots sharply. It moves from the event itself to your character. Your credibility as a witness is dismantled, piece by piece. You're told you're too sensitive, you're crazy, you're always looking for a fight. These accusations are powerful because they prey on universal insecurities. Who among us hasn't worried at some point that we might be too emotional or difficult? The attacker uses this innate self-doubt as a weapon. They might analyze your motives. You're just trying to make me feel bad. Or, you enjoy playing the victim. Suddenly, you are no longer a person with a legitimate grievance. You are a malicious actor with a hidden agenda. You find yourself defending your personality, your sanity, your very right to bring up an issue. The original offense is now a distant memory, buried under a pile of accusations about you. Your tone of voice is scrutinized. Your choice of words is dissected. If you get emotional, your feelings are used as proof of your instability. See? You're hysterical. I can't even have a rational conversation with you. If you stay calm, your composure is interpreted as cold and calculating. There is no right way for you to behave, because the game is rigged. The goal is to discredit the messenger so the message can be ignored. Every defense you offer is twisted into a further indictment of your character. You are being painted as the aggressor, the real aggressor. Denial made you question what happened. This attack is designed to make you question who you are. But even this is just a setup for the final devastating move. This is the masterstroke, where the entire dynamic is inverted in a single breathtaking maneuver. This is where the perpetrator performs a stunning act of emotional alchemy. They become the victim. The person who broke the promise, crossed the boundary, or caused the harm now claims that they are the one who has been wronged. The true offense, they claim, is your accusation. Your grievance is reframed as an unfair attack on them. You hear sentences like, "I can't believe you would accuse me of that after everything I've done for you." Or, "This is what's really hurting me, your constant criticism." They are the victim of your judgment. They are the victim of your negativity. You came to them with your pain, and now you're being asked to manage theirs. The conversation is no longer about their actions. It is about the damage your complaint has caused them. This is the moment where you might find yourself apologizing. You feel guilty for upsetting them. You feel ashamed for making a scene. You backtrack. You soften your language. You end up comforting the person who hurt you in the first place. This entire three-step process is a known psychological manipulation tactic. It was identified and named by the researcher Jennifer Fried. It's called DARVO, Deny Attack, and Reverse Victim and Offender. It is a sequence engineered to destroy accountability. Deny the behavior, attack the individual confronting you, and reverse the roles of victim and offender. Now, some might argue that this just sounds like a particularly messy fight, that in any heated argument, both parties might feel like the victim, and in many conflicts, fault is shared. But DARVO follows a specific identifiable script. The telltale sign is that the original issue, the reason the conversation started, is never addressed. It vanishes completely. It evaporates, replaced by the new, more urgent problem of the perpetrator's supposed suffering. The game is reset, and you are cast as the villain. The long-term effects of being on the receiving end of DARVO are corrosive. It's more than just losing an argument. It's a slow, steady erosion of your trust in yourself. Your mind learns that speaking up leads to punishment and confusion. Your instincts, which tell you something is wrong, are repeatedly invalidated. So you stop trusting them. You begin to live in a mental fog, constantly second-guessing your perceptions, your memories, and your own emotional responses. You might find yourself constantly apologizing, taking the blame for things that were clearly not your fault, simply to keep the peace. This happens because your brain is trying to resolve an unbearable cognitive dissonance. The person who claims to care for you is also the person causing you deep pain. It's easier for the brain to accept a simpler narrative: I must be the problem, I am too sensitive, I am difficult, I am remembering it wrong. This self-blame is a survival strategy. It provides a sense of control, an illusion that if you could just fix yourself, the pain would stop. This internal narrative then begins to isolate you. How can you explain the dynamic to a friend or family member when you can barely make sense of it yourself? The logic is so twisted it sounds unbelievable when spoken aloud. You might say, "He got angry because I was upset that he was late." And hear how strange that sounds. The abuser often reinforces this isolation, telling you that outsiders just don't understand our relationship. Over time, you learn to keep quiet. The silence feels safer than the dizzying, maddening loop of DARVO. Your world shrinks. So why do we fall for it? Why is this tactic so brutally effective? It's because it exploits our fundamental human need for attachment and social cohesion. We are wired to want to repair breaches in our relationships. We seek harmony. The perpetrator of DARVO hijacks this instinct. They offer a path back to harmony, but the price of admission is your reality. You can end the conflict right now. All you have to do is agree that you are the one at fault. It's a deal that, in a moment of exhaustion and confusion, feels almost impossible to refuse. But this script isn't limited to personal relationships. Once you see the pattern, you begin to see it playing out on a much larger stage. Think of a corporation caught in an environmental scandal. First, they deny the data. The reports are flawed. Then they attack the credibility of the journalists or scientists who exposed them. They are biased activists with an agenda. Finally, they reverse victim and offender. The company becomes the victim of an unfair witch hunt that is hurting the economy and costing people their jobs. The original issue, the polluted river, is lost in the noise. Think of a public figure accused of misconduct. They deny the allegations. It's all lies. They attack the accusers. They are fame seekers. They are unstable. They have ulterior motives. And then they reverse the roles. They are the true victims, their reputation and family being destroyed by these malicious claims. Their supporters rally around them, outraged at the injustice being done to the powerful figure. The victims' stories are buried. This pattern is a feature of power structures. It's a mechanism for maintaining the status quo and deflecting accountability. Institutions, celebrities, and political movements use it because it works. It leverages the public's tendency to want a clear hero and a clear villain. By muddying the waters and recasting themselves as the aggrieved party, offenders can often escape consequences entirely. The tactic short-circuits our ability to focus on the facts of the offense by creating a more compelling, emotional drama around the offender's supposed suffering. It's a large-scale performance of innocence that relies on the same psychological principles that make it so effective in a living room argument. It destabilizes our shared sense of reality. It exhausts our will to hold power to account. But for all its effectiveness, this entire structure has a fatal weakness. There is one thing that DARVO cannot survive. It is an element that has nothing to do with fighting back, winning the argument, or proving your case. The greatest weakness of DARVO is recognition. This entire performance operates in the dark, fueled by confusion, self-doubt, and disorientation. It requires you to be lost in the fog. The moment you can step back and identify the pattern, the moment you can say to yourself, this is what's happening. This is the denial. Now comes the attack, and here comes the reversal. The spell is broken. You are no longer a participant in the drama. You are an observer of a technique. The goal shifts. You realize the aim is not to convince them of your reality. Their commitment to their version is absolute. The objective is to anchor yourself in your own reality. You stop trying to win a game that is rigged. You simply refuse to play. When you recognize DARVO, you stop defending yourself against the attacks. You stop getting drawn into debates about your sanity or your motives. You see those for what they are, distractions. You might simply state your position and then end the conversation. You might document what happened for your own clarity. You write it down, not as evidence to be used against them, but as an anchor for yourself, a reminder of what was real when the fog of gaslighting tries to roll back in. Naming the pattern gives you power. It allows you to detach emotionally from the chaos and see the machinery at work. You understand that the frantic accusations and feigned victimhood are not a reflection of you, but a strategy being deployed by them. The ballot box of your own mind has been tampered with for a long time. Every time you accepted the blame, you cast a vote for their version of reality. Recognizing the DARVO playbook is how you take back your ballot. It's the realization that you are the sole arbiter of your own experience. The goal was never to get them to see the truth. The goal was to stop letting them convince you of a lie. And once you can name the game, you are already standing outside the arena.